Hi everybody, I'm Mike. Welcome back to the Aftershot. We're trying a new live backdrop today. Please let me know what you think. We're also trying a few other new skills as well as some old ones. I hope you get to use them all. Follow along because we're not doing a lot of sliding of buttons and pushing things today in image editors, but we are hopefully going on a bit of a time travel. The changes we're making to these images are predominantly AI, so it's really more about prompting. I'm not even going to go over the prompts with you because I've used probably half a dozen different AIs. Gemini, Perplexity, ChatGPT, inside Photoshop, and I'm not going to say one is better than the other for the simple reason that it really depends on the source file, in this case this scan here, and what you're trying to achieve. On several occasions when I've gone to repeat the process, if I've altered something slightly, like what I'm trying to achieve, or used a different scan, then a different AI has come out on top. So I can't recommend to you and say one is better than the other for doing things. However, there are plenty of sources online that can give you prompts, that'll recommend prompts, etc. But I'd strongly suggest you try your images on whatever AI you have handy, and then if that doesn't achieve, or if you're unable to achieve the outcome that you're looking for, then try a couple of others. Most of them have free access for at least a couple of tries, so you should be able to get an idea what works well for the shot that you have in mind. So this one here today, I have done it before in Gemini and I've had some success, but for some reason this time ChatGPT worked the best and I was able to get quite a good shot on my first or second attempt. You may have noticed that I've also extended the frame, and to do that you can use any generative expanding tool such as the one in Photoshop. There are some online, Pixby I think it was. There are quite a few, but so it's just that you, as I said, generative expand, or sometimes they call it outpainting. In case you haven't recognized him, the handsome young fellow on the left, the young chap there, is myself. I'd say somewhere around the age of 4 or 5. The lady is of course my grandmother, and that is my older brother on the other side. Now we have a color version. Some people like to stick with the traditional, and some people like to bring it forward and add some color. So that is the two versions that most people go for when they're restoring an old family photo. I decided to take it a little bit further and see what would happen if we played with it a little more, taking it through to other times perhaps, or other styles. We've really gone overboard here and we've tried a cyberpunk approach. Not everyone's cup of tea, but it did give me an idea for later on. We'll come back to that. Cyberpunk, you can't really try cyberpunk without also trying steampunk. It's probably a bit more suited to the aesthetic these people are giving off. Then I thought, well, we'll get away from fantasy and wonder what would happen if dear old grandma had the budget and was able to hire a top-class photographer at the time, such as Arnold Newman is one of my favorites, and this is a style that he did very well in black and white. And then later on, when he started doing color work, he had many photos in various magazines and they followed something along this aesthetic. Now that's all well and good, but it's still a little stayed. So as we're approaching the swinging 60s, I thought back to that gritty scene in the Cyberpunk version, and that reminded me of an album cover from long ago. This one here from the Beatles, a nice gritty street, and I thought, well, I wonder if we put our subjects in this environment, how that would come along. I rather liked it. We've changed the name to the Pythons because they were also a popular group at the same time in a different vogue, more to my style of humour. And then just to finish up, I thought, well, we'll bring this ruling mob to today's world and today's studio and today's equipment and today's styles, and let's see how they fare. Hard to believe, isn't it? But that's the same people. Marvellous what a haircut and some styling can do. I hope you've had some inspiration, and looking forward to any comments on things from our choice of backdrops to what you'd like to see in the future. Thanks for tuning into the Aftershot. I'm Mike. We'll see you next week.